My girlfriend drove away and left me alone. The butcher could only focus all his attention on me. Just as he was about to make his move, suddenly, a gunshot shattered the silence. He fell to the ground at the sound. It turned out the police had arrived just in time. Although the butcher ultimately managed to escape with his wounds, a deep psychological shadow was left in my heart. Time passed. 10 years went by, but the shadow of the butcher never left it. In order to completely overcome it, I never expected that instead of choosing to face my fear head-on, I would choose to become the fear itself. I found that familiar miner's uniform, picked up that cold butcher's knife, and immediately began my hunting plan. The first targets were my heartless ex-girlfriend who abandoned me, and her current husband David. I orchestrated several accidents. I wanted them to believe that the butcher from 10 years ago had returned. This way, I could both clear myself of suspicion and smoothly carry out my grand revenge. At 10 PM on a dark night, my ex and her best friend were out for a stroll, while I was already lurking behind them like a ghost. In order to save their lives, the two of them could only run off in different directions. But in their panic, my ex-girlfriend unexpectedly fell hard to the ground. At that critical moment, her friend, disregarding everything, rushed back to save her, and together they managed to escape into a warehouse. They immediately used a heavy cabinet to block the door tighter, but to me, that was just a way to buy themselves some time. They then tried to escape through the window, but little did they know, I was already waiting outside. Next, I took care of that meddlesome ex-girlfriend first. She desperately ran toward the main door, only to crash straight into her husband David. Although I let her go this time, my plan had only just begun. As I dialed his number, I planted a seed of doubt in his heart at his most vulnerable moment. I deliberately told her that the library from 10 years ago was long gone, and maybe now, the person closest to you, your own husband, is your real confidant. The evidence from 10 years ago has long since disappeared, but this new doubt will grow wildly in his heart, driving him to search for me. I put him in the car, heading straight for the place where we buried our past. I planned to end it all there, but unexpectedly, her husband David managed to uncover some clues and called to tell him that I was the real poisoner, a complete psychopath. But so what if he knew? Today, as he hesitated, I picked up my iron shovel. Just as I was feeling triumphant, he suddenly snatched the steering wheel from me. I was caught off guard in an instant, but he got out of the car and quickly called David, telling him to hurry to the cabin in the forest. But when he arrived at the cabin, what he saw was me, already dressed and waiting. He didn't realize at all that I was the one behind it all. Instead, his eyes were filled with despair and betrayal. After all, only David knew about this hidden cabin. Looking at the person in front of me, who took him for her own husband, every step of my carefully planned scheme had finally come to perfect fruition at this very moment.